Independence Day means different things to everybody. Everybody has a different meaning for what that means to them. And July 4th is the day that my divorce was final. Can't remember what year, but it doesn't really matter anyway. If you follow my story, then you would remember that I ran away at the age of 18 to escape the abuse of the Wicked Witch of West Vancouver, Alice Sellers. And I was, classic abused child trying to run away and create a new family and force somebody to have to take care of me. Because even though I'd been in that relationship for a couple of years and I knew it was abusive and wasn't happy, it's like you don't know any other way. You don't know how to be independent when you are taught your whole life that you're a loser and that you need to rely on your abuser for everything. So instead of being able to make my own way in the world and stand on my own 2 feet, I, latched onto the first person who gave me attention. And like I said, classic abused child trying to create a new family and force somebody to take care of me. So that was my version of trying to get independence from the psychotic abuse of Alice Sellers and Frank Sellers, drunk alcoholic who molested me as a child. And now, I don't know. I guess it's just an easy day to remember that that's the day my divorce was finalized. So that's the day that I got out of that abusive relationship, like officially, even though I'd already left him a long time before that. But again, I left that relationship when I found a friend and somebody that I worked with, and she told me to move in with her. So, I still didn't understand how to live on my own or make my own way in the world. Oh, I guess in a way that was sort of me making my own way, finding wherever you can go. And, then the other Independence Days I've posted about are when Austin and I moved into a safe house on February 3rd to once again get away from the abuse of Alice Sellers and that whole toxic environment, because I didn't want my child growing up in that abuse. So that's when I really started to stand on my own feet. I mean, I still fell into the cycle of abuse a few times. So then I guess our final Independence Day was May 1st when I think it was 2008, we moved to Cranbrook, which was 10 hours away of the Lower Mainland, to get away from Alice and Frank stalking us all over the Lower Mainland, because we couldn't live a life free from fear being down here. So we moved somewhere where I'd never been before, didn't know anybody, but I finally, was brave enough, I guess, because I now had a child to look out for. It's amazing how you'll put yourself through so much abuse in life, but when it comes to somebody else, you're more willing to stand up for them. Especially as a parent, when it's your child, you don't want them to be exposed to all that abuse. So now here we are, all these years later, when fucked up social workers taking payoffs and undid everything that I did to protect my child and forced him to now live in that toxic house of horrors, being molested and abused and lied to, told that I don't love him and don't want him. And he's not allowed to see or speak to anybody he's ever known in his entire life because he's a hostage. Now, if he's doing well and he's a safe environment, then why isn't he allowed to see or speak to anybody? If it's just me who's supposedly a bad person, then wouldn't you only cut me off and put my child with one of our family members, somebody that my child actually knew, and allow me to have contact? I mean, I'm not an addict. I didn't do anything wrong. And I don't even have supervised visits or even a phone call. That's called keeping a child hostage, and that's illegal. Parental alienation is illegal. Nobody has seen or heard from Austin in 45 months. And nobody is standing up for him and doing what's right and getting him to know the truth.